are treatments that we do to treat anything color-wise in the skin. So we do them to treat pigment, hyperpigmentation caused by sun damage. We can treat post-inflammatory hyperpigmentations, people that maybe get a blemish and once the blemish goes away, they're left with a little bit of discoloration. We do them to treat redness in the skin, capillaries. Sometimes we will treat rosacea, so extreme redness in the skin. So what it is it's a laser that has specific wavelengths of light that go in and target specific things in the skin. So when we're doing a photofacial, this is the epidermis of the skin, so that's the part of the skin that we see. Then we have the dermis. Within the dermis, we have melanocytes. Repeated sun exposure, injury, sometimes hormones cause little clusters of these pigmented melanocytes to overproduce pigment. So over time, we start to see the little brown spots collect on the surface of the skin. So if you think of these little brown spots like little marbles, and the laser's like a big hammer. So the hammer comes down, breaks up these little clusters of pigments, turns them really dark brown after. So after a photofacial, you can look really freckly. You can look like we've put coffee grounds all over the face. It depends sometimes on the depth of the pigment. What's really superficial will come out. What's a little bit deeper, your body will just break up and little microphages will come and flush them out in a different manner. But we're breaking up those little pigmented spots so that they come off the skin. When we have vessels, we have capillaries that sometimes they kind of spring a little leak. So you see enlarged capillaries, you see redness, diffuse redness throughout the cheeks. So what the laser does is it heats that little deviation up, causes it to collapse. Again, your body just sends in little microphages and they scoop up that tissue. So when we do photofacials, sometimes we will do one if there's not a lot of issues there, but we typically do between 1 and 3 treatments. With each treatment, we get a little bit deeper, we get a little bit more of the pigment broken up to come out. But there are some things afterwards that are really important for maintaining the skin. So number 1 is sunscreen. It's typically the sun that is the biggest issue in causing the pigmented spots to appear. So we want to keep everything as it is after photofacial. So SPF on a daily basis is really important. UVA rays penetrate glass. So even if you're driving in the car and the sun's really nice and bright, it's stimulating those melanocytes. So SPF is crucial. We also like you to use something to exfoliate the skin. Depending on the skin, sometimes I'll put you on retinol, sometimes I'll put you on glycolic. And what that does is it helps to prevent the pigmented spots from pooling. So it just helps to keep them off the skin so everything looks a lot more even in tone. And then the third thing that we use is topical vitamin C. The problem with having pigment sitting in the skin, we can see it, but the real culprit is the melanocytes that are deep in the skin. So when we use a really strong topical vitamin C product, we're using it as a tyrosinase inhibitor. So it goes down to those melanocytes and it helps to shut them off. So when they're not overproducing pigment all the time, it's not coming to the surface and getting stuck in the skin. So really important going forward, use something to exfoliate, use some topical vitamin C, and use an SPF on a daily basis. The other thing that vitamin C does as well, when we have redness and we have broken capillaries, the problem is the capillary itself becomes inflamed and it becomes weak. So if you think of a garden hose laying in the sun, it starts to swell up. Eventually, sometimes it'll spring a little leak. That's kind of what's happening with the capillary itself from years of sun damage, stress, different factors. So vitamin C helps to strengthen the capillary wall. So really important, we can do these treatments in clinic and we get fantastic results, but what you're doing at home is going to maintain them more than anything that we can do here. It's really important that you don't have any passive tan on the skin, because the laser is really pigment sensitive. If you have passive tan, then it's going to be attracted to the tan that's sitting on the surface and not necessarily the darker spots. We don't do it to pregnant or breastfeeding women. If you have cold sores, we have to be careful if we're working around the mouth because we can stimulate a little bit of a cold sore. And if you're on certain medications, some medications make you photosensitive to light, and this is a light-based treatment. Before the treatment, I'm going to put some topical numbing on, and that's just going to help with discomfort. So it's a laser, so it's a flash of light. Within the laser, we have different filters that cut the light off at different depths to target different things. So with the laser, we can target pigment. We can go a little bit deeper. We can target things that are vascular. We can go a little bit deeper still, and we can do hair removal. One of the side effects of a photofacial is sometimes hair removal on the face, which for women, that's always great because we don't want it there. But I do photofacials for men, and so them coming in with a patchy beard, that's always a potential. So we watch for that. Afterwards, you can be red, you can be freckly, you can look like we've spread coffee grounds all over the face. If you're really vascular, sometimes that enlarged capillary will turn a little bit purple, so you can look like you have a little tiny bit of bruising on the face. That's normal. You can have some swelling. It is a heat-based treatment, so although collagen stimulation isn't its #1 target, we are putting heat in the skin, which stimulates your healing response, which stimulates your fibroblast cells. So collagen, elastin fibers. So you'll notice that your pores will feel a little bit tighter after as well. For maintenance, I usually recommend coming in every 6 months to a year. We still go in and out of the sun, and sometimes we don't always have the SPF on. You know, we are going to re-stimulate those melanocytes, so maintenance is important as well.
But can I put makeup on, like regular
Yes.
makeup on afterwards?
Yes.
I can, it's not gonna harm it.
Not at all. You're gonna feel hot after. I usually recommend for the initial maybe about an hour when you're feeling warm, I usually don't put anything on because I don't want to seal the heat in. Once that dissipates, you're free to go ahead and cover it with makeup.
If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And don't forget to leave us comments or questions down below so we can get to know you better.